All right. So this is the Technology Advisory Committee, and today's June 15th. And Alex, thanks so much for stepping up. Her presentation today is titled Building a Brand That Puts Dollars in Your Pocket. And my only question is, Alex, how many dollars are we speaking of?
A lot of dollars.
Nice.
Lots of a gajillion, maybe.
Okay, good. We
I'll get
we
more specific on actual dollars when we get into it, but
All right, good, good. Well, everything now is in your able hands. And once again, thanks for being here. You're an excellent presenter, entertainer, and full of so much knowledge and experience that, God, I hope you can live up to it.
no. Well, I'm going to do my best, and I hope you all enjoy this. Again, as John had mentioned, this presentation is called Building a Brand That Puts Dollars in Your Pocket, right? Because who doesn't like dollars? I mean, I love dollars, right? So on our journey today, we're going to cover what does it mean to be a brand and what does it mean to be a great one? A brand equals bucks, because we're all in business for bucks. While we do have purpose-driven brands, most of us are here to add revenue. We're going to talk about branding and marketing strategies. We're going to talk about getting more money, maybe some strategies that you might have left off the table. And then we're also going to give out some prizes at the end. So if you have questions, use the chat. I will answer them live. And as always, I like 110% participation. So I want to ask you all, how many of you feel like your brand could really use a level up, and what challenges are you facing in doing so? And you can either type your answer in the chat, or I would love to just hear from one of you challenges and really leveling up your brand. Or if you think you have an awesome killer brand, tell me about that as well. Anyone? Anyone?
Alex, let me ask you a prior question to that. How would
Awesome.
one know that their brand needs a level up?
Well, that's a good question. And I'm actually going to go over that in a little bit. So if your brand needs a level up, you have to really ask yourself, are you getting out of your brand what you want to get out of your brand? So I will go into that in a little bit more details, but your brand, if your brand needs a level up, you basically would look at, are you getting the results that you want to get? And are you getting the maximum amount of results that you want to get? So it's important because we can always be getting results and we can always be getting good results, but are we getting the best results? And sometimes knowing what the best results are require bringing someone in with outside knowledge to understand what that can look like. And sometimes that involves you mapping out a plan of what you'd like to do and doing competitor research and deciding, oh, yeah, maybe I need to level up my brand. But I'm going to cover a few items in here that you definitely need to nail for brand fundamentals, because if you don't have these, your brand definitely needs a level up.
I, you
John.
know, yeah, Alex, I feel like I am on the way to having a brand in essence. But you and I both know, and probably most people know, a brand is a whole lot more than a logo or even a tagline. So we're talking about immersive branding is how I would like to level up.
Awesome. And that's a great way to look at it, John, because the thing is that branding can be challenging, but it is by far the most important aspect of a business that is truly successful. And when I say, and I put truly successful in quotations, because many people define success simply by revenue dollars. Now, obviously, as a business, that is an amazing metric. But how many of you guys know businesses and brands that have tons of money, right? They have a ton of money, and the brand is super crappy. Like, you don't even like the brand, but they have a ton of money. I won't name any names, but a big retail shopping place that we like to go to frequently, they've got lots of money. We won't name any names, but I wouldn't call them particularly a great brand. No offense, big retail shopping company, you know who you are, right? But they also know what they're known for. And so one of the things that had just previously been asked, right? Before you can, use brand wisely to really increase your revenue, you need to know what it is, right? And because if you don't know what it is, then you're also just not going to know what you need to level up. That's really important. Okay. So let's think. Okay. What the heck is a brand anyway? If you think you have a brand, raise your hand or put a 1 in the chat. If you think you have a brand. Those are some faces I'm going to that are ironed into my mind, right? So everybody has a brand, whether they think it or not. Some of your brands are just really invisible, right? So you need to know what the heck is a brand, and then you also need to know what makes a great one, right? So let's just talk about what exactly is branding, because as John had pointed out earlier, it's not a logo, it's not necessarily the design, it's something else, right? So brand is the set of values, okay, beliefs and standards that define your business and create an identifiable and unique experience for your audience, okay? Values, belief, standards that create identifiable and unique experiences for your audience, okay? Did you catch that there? Brand is an experience, okay? That's what you need to do, because great brands create great experiences. Okay, so that's the one of the biggest difference. Great brands create great experience, and the experience you're known for could make or break the bank, right? So when we think of great brands, or when we really think about experience, like the number one brand that always comes to mind is Disney, right? It's a magical experience. They are the only place, when somebody says the happiest place on earth, they're talking about Disneyland. Right? They have now been known for that. That is what people, when somebody says, I want to go to the happiest place on earth, it is Disneyland. There's no other place. If somebody said anything else, it'd be like, what's wrong with you? Right? Because Disney has created a very unique experience for everybody who visits. They have a culture, right? And in a way, good brands are, sort of like cults, some good, some not so good, right? And so, Disney, you can refer to that as a good cult or a bad cult. It's a love-hate relationship with me. I love a lot of things Disney. I went to the movie theater and saw Cruella, thoroughly enjoyed that. Right. So when you think of Disney, you even have terms that go along with that. Disney freaks. If you had a season pass before they discontinue them, we were known as pass holes, right? Or pass holders, and so, Disney has created its own unique culture around its brand. And the reason they've been able to do this as a great brand, and other great brands do that, is these brands have three major things in common. Okay. They know themselves, they know their audience, and they know their goals, okay? They know themselves, they know their audience, and they know their goals. And all those things align. So going back to what you were saying, Chuck, about how do you know if your brand needs a level up, right? How well you know yourself, how well you know your audience, and how well you know your goals, and all of those things are coming to alignment to give you the best results, right? You know your brand is headed in the right direction. But if not, then that might be an opportunity to level up, okay? Right? Because branding has a direct impact on your bottom line and your value as an organization. We all know that Starbucks charges a lot of money for coffee, or, depending on what your opinion is of a lot of money, right, for coffee. But there are a lot of people that tell you that Starbucks doesn't even offer necessarily the best coffee. But right, when you see that cup, you see that green straw, you can automatically add more money to that particular product. Because branding really does affect the experience. Everything they've created around the Starbucks culture is adding value, right? Which impacts their bottom line, okay? So great brands can provide a different answer than their competitors for this particular question when they're looking at developing a unique brand. Why should I buy this product from you, right? Why should I buy this particular product from you? Okay, that is really important. And I highlighted those words so that you understand why should I do this, right? You need to understand what your customers' needs are, what their interests are, what they expect, what they're looking for, what their problems are. What are you solving for them? You may not think of Disney as being a problem-solving organization, but they solve the problem of boredom and things to do and creating happiness and memories and excitement and thrill rides and bacon-wrapped turkey legs. Just that's really good stuff, people, right? They create that unique spirit experience. They solve a problem. They answer the why, right? And the I, again, who's your target audience, right? And it's okay if you have more than one target audience. A lot of people feel like, oh, I have, this is one audience, and they make it really broad. Break up your audiences. You've got many different types of stakeholders in your business. You've got clients, you've got customers, you've got team members, you've got investors, you've got community. You have a lot of different people, right? So understand your target audience and understand why that particular audience, why they should be buying your product. Again, this product, what makes it special? Don't tell me that it's cheaper, because if price is the only differential, you're not special, right? You're not special, okay? This product, what makes this particular product unique? I'll tell you what, if you don't feel like you have a unique product, that's actually okay sometimes. If your brand creates a very unique experience. This is why movie theaters get away with selling $8 popcorn at the concession stand. Like, that popcorn ain't extra special, right? But you're in the movies, you have an experience. They can charge you $8 for popcorn, right? And you go and you pay for it, even though it's outrageously priced, and it's not better than the popcorn you get at the grocery store, right? So if you have an experience that you can offer, there are even times where you can basically essentially cut back on product. I don't personally recommend that, because products should be awesome. Your product should be killer. People should want to have your product. It should be special, beautiful, unique, okay? Right? But even if it's not, great brand, great experience can outweigh your product, okay? Perfect. And I gave an example of a very popular coffee company about that just a second ago, okay? Right? And then again, buy this product from you. Why should I get it from you? What makes you special, right? Do you think you're special? Do you, as your company, oh, we have great customer service? That's actually becoming a selling point now, because customer service has gotten really crappy over time. But, overall, good customer service should be a standard. That's not a unique thing. You should be offering, great customer service. That should be a thing that should always be offered, okay? Right? But why should they buy it from you? What makes you special? What's your edge? What makes you unique, whether that be you as a personal brand or you as a company? Some people have difficulty because they have a brand that's tied to a company, right? Maybe you represent a larger organization. And so you may think, man, I'm just, this one individual working at this big company where they decide all of that sort of stuff, right? You can still create a unique brand experience for yourself and your customers and your clientele that reflects wonderfully on that big and major brand. So don't think that just because you may be tied to some major corporate name or label that you can't create a unique brand experience and answer this question, okay? It's really important, right? Because if your answer to doo-doo and flat, you may need to rethink what kind of brand you really are, right? You don't want to be boo-boo, okay? You want to be unique, right? Keyword is unique, right? And when I say unique, that means your genuine and authentic self. You don't have to be like everybody else, right? You want to be you. You want to be the person that stands out and be authentic. You want to embrace every aspect of your brand. And right, and there are quite a few benefits when you do that, okay? When you create a brand that's unique and authentic, right? You do a lot of different things, okay? Like attract top tier talent. Some people only think about brand with your customers. How many of you guys focus on brand and in terms of attracting the right people? Can you throw a 1 in the chat if you're like, hey, I think about building a brand that will attract the people that I actually want to work here? And if that's kind of like a thought where it's like, I hadn't really put a lot of time and energy into that, put a 2 in the chat. If you're like, I hadn't taken too much time to really think about that specifically. Or it's like, it crossed my mind, but I don't necessarily have a strategy for it, right? Top tier talent's really important, right? Because with great companies typically have great people when they're doing great work. So if you develop a strong brand, you can attract top tier talent, which ultimately is going to help your business, okay? You can increase your market share to a point where you create a monopoly or are crushing innovation, like an Apple or a Google or something like that. It's not necessarily a positive thing, but for a small business that wants to grow into a larger business, right? You can really increase your market share with a great brand, okay? You can also reduce price sensitivity, right? We talked about that with Starbucks. They don't have to offer 5-star coffee, but they can most certainly sell it at 5-star prices, and you just pay the money. You don't even necessarily even think about, oh, this is X amount of dollars. Now, customers today are changing. And they do, and they are thinking more consciously about who they buy from and what they buy from who, right? So those things are really important. But price, price sensitivity, if you're offering a unique experience that is not like anybody else's, right, you can charge more for that, right? People love to experience something they can't get someplace else, or something that's different, and people are willing to pay extra for it. I know I am, right? And that's one simple example is Amazon. I will spend an extra $1.50 on a box of reusable straws or recyclable straws instead of going to the grocery store that is within walking distance across the street, because I like the fact that if I can just go online, order it, it's going to come to my door, convenience, right? That's the Amazon experience. You just click, one click buy, shows up at your door, same day, next day, 2 day. It's awesome and amazing. And I pay more for something that would only have cost me 88 cents or $1, whatever, across the street. Literally could have just walked across the street and did it, but I'm willing to pay more money because of the experience that's created. Okay. So those are things that you really need to think about. Also, it creates customer loyalty. How many of you guys have loyal customers? Clap your hands if you got some loyal customers. You're like, yeah, right? Okay, good. You're doing something right because somebody's sticking with you, right? So when you have a great brand, you create customer loyalty. People do not want to go someplace else. And from my own experience, and for the last decade of being in business, I have made a lot of F-ups. I have messed a lot of stuff up. I've fallen on my butt, my face, into walls, done a lot of things I shouldn't have done, and had to learn the hard way. And the saving grace in many ways was not price, but brand experience. Because despite the fact that I had made a lot of bumps in the road, I had created a strong enough experience that customers stuck by me through those bumps and those hurdles and all of that kind of stuff. So that is the power of those unique experiences that you can create, right? You can create customer loyalty, or even staff loyalty, right? So even if your business is going through a hard time, if you're creating the right experience, that people are willing to stick with you. And that was Amazon's story. Jeff Bezos was broke at one point, and he was bouncing checks over 10. He couldn't pay everybody, right? But he said, hey guys, if you stick it out, right, I'm going to do something big, right? People stuck it out, obviously did well. And other people, decided to move on. But creating that great experience creates the customer loyalty, creates staff, keeps people loyal to your brand. Okay. Increases referrals, right? You can increase referrals. If you got a good brand, people usually want to talk about it. If you go to something fun, or you get something done and they do a good job, or you experience great service, you create a unique experience, people usually tell their friends. Word of mouth is still one of the best forms of advertising. Wouldn't you agree, guys? Can I get some head nods? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right? Word of mouth is probably our most effective marketing tool, because we create an experience and people talk about that experience, and then people reach out and they send people our way. And so because we focus on branding, we spend significantly less on marketing. And that is such a blessing. And if you are good at your branding, your marketing dollars go further. So if anything, if you want to think about, hey, I don't know if I want to invest in a brand, right? It's going to make the dollars you spend in other places go a lot further, right? And that's going to ultimately grow your sales. So let's look at, again, how does that all directly affect your bottom line? Maybe those are abstract concepts to you, right? Okay. Better talent. If you got better talent, you can do a better job. Better job means what? More money, right? If you have more of the market share, right? If you're able to get customers away from other competitors and do what you got to do, what does that result in? More money, right? Again, if you have a unique and custom experience, you can charge higher prices for the same product. Higher prices means, can anybody take a guess? More money, right? More money, right? Customer loyalty. If you're able to buy more, those same people buying over and over again, right? They love your product, right? You don't have to spend money acquiring that customer. So that you save money and you make money because that customer continues to buy things, right? And when they buy more stuff, that equals more money. Everybody getting the picture here, right? More referrals, more money, okay? More sales, more money, okay? Money is good, right? Right? Yes. You guys are looking at like, I don't know if I want more money, right? Thank you, John, right? Money is good, right? But I know what you're thinking. All of that sounds great. But where do I even start, right? There are a lot of questions around branding. Like, because it's like this abstract animal, there's like all of these, there's webinars and there's workshops and there's all these kind of like different things surrounding brand. And so there are things that you can do that can make it a little bit more concrete and can make it a little bit easier, especially if you don't have the budget for branding. Because branding, especially good branding, is expensive, right? It does cost money. I know, I charge the money, right? And because we know the value that good branding has on an organization. When we do branding for a client, I can directly see the difference between before we did the branding and after we did the branding and the sales and what that led to, right? So I can clearly see I charged this organization X amount of dollars and I can see the ROI. Somebody asked about specific amounts of money. Maybe I'll give like 3 particular client examples in 3 different and dollar ways, I guess you would say, right? So one client, we did a very great job on their branding. That client, because they had good branding, was able to attract more leads, and they were able to cut 2 of their salespeople, 3 of their salespeople. That I think at the end of the day, they had 4, and one stuck around for a long time, but they were able to cut the other 3 immediately. That provided them a savings of like $12,000 a month. They made up all of that revenue just by making an investment in branding. So $12,000 a month is kind of a big deal, right? That's what, $144,000 a year. And I only know that amount because I happen to be very close friends with that particular client, and they told me what those people were paid, what they were paying, right? So between the salary and the benefits and all that, it came out to be about $12,000 a month. So that's one example. So branding could ultimately put, $150K back in your pocket. Another example, another client spent a good time on their branding. They loved it. It's great. They still love it. They're still a client. They go to conferences and seminars and they attract their competitors. Like their competitors notice they're getting a lot of brand recognition, a lot of notable, like, oh my gosh, look at that. Look, their brand is so great. They help create, these unique brand experiences for their particular clients, doing things that other clients didn't do. And they experience about a 24.7. I'm literally, because I was actually there looking at a whiteboard, a 24.7% increase 3 quarters in a row. So somewhere about a 25% increase 3 quarters in a row. The company itself did somewhere between $4 to $8 million a year. So that should tell you what kind of, I don't do math, guys. I don't do math really well, guys. So don't ask me to add those numbers. But increasing your stuff by about 25% over each quarter, right? And you do several $1 million a year. That's a lot of money, right? And I mean, we do other stuff too. You do marketing, but ultimately, the brand. What was special about this particular client is not only did the branding help make them look good and have unique experience for the customers, it was reflected in how their staff behaved. Okay, so their staff felt like they had a brand that they were proud of, were creating experiences they were proud of, so they worked harder and they produced more and they engaged better. So staff overall were like, oh my gosh, right? It's like buying somebody a fancy suit. All of a sudden they have like a different demeanor, like that sort of thing makes a difference. So brand can affect your how much money you make, how much money you save. It can affect your staff. It can affect your client. It can affect all these things if you spend time creating a great brand. So with all that being said, right? Okay, here's how you'll make your brand sizzle. Okay, these are things you need to do to break your mold. And I'm going to give you guys some tips for making sure that you have a great brand. 1, know your mission, vision, and values. Okay, if you don't know I know we hear this a lot, but most of us still don't really know what that really means. Like we say we have a mission and we have a vision and we have a values, but we don't really know what that means. A lot of times it's kind of be 10 words floating around in a cloud, right? So know your mission and your vision and your values, but really, really know them and act on them and believe in them. If you say you value quality, but you're not really delivering quality, that's not really a value for you. Don't lie to yourself. That's not nice. Don't do that. That's not nice for other people, right? You have to really know these things. And if you're having trouble understanding what that is, your mission is what you do. Your vision is what you get when you do your mission, and your values is how you do your mission to get your vision. All right. I know that was kind of maybe, a lot of kind of this, and that, right? But your mission is what you're out to do. Okay. Your vision is what you get when you do it, and your values is how you do it. Okay. So that's what you have to make sure you know, because if you don't know these things, it's going to be really hard to drive your brand forward. People aren't going to know what to expect. Okay. And speaking of expectations, you have to know what you want to stand and be known for in the world. So what do you stand for? What are you known for? What do you want to represent? Is your brand a brand where people are like, oh man, that I see who they are, right? I understand who they are. Like, you've got to be bold. And sometimes bold does not necessarily mean being hyper or extra energetic or all this other kind of stuff, or fancy or fun or blah, 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 right? Because some of you may feel like your brand or your industry is boring. Some of you work in fields like financial management, insurance, right? It's like, this is not like fun stuff, right? But that is okay, because just because it may seem, boring, it does not have to be. This is where you can, again, create unique experiences. And sometimes people can even capitalize on boring, right? Bueller, right? Dry guys, clear eyes, dry guys, right? Like, he was just, he never really said much, right? It was just like his very boring, drab voice. And that in and of itself became a brand. So even dryness and can be funny and become a brand. Or another good example is if you look at Allstate. So and I don't even know the actor's name because I call him the Allstate guy, right? Y'all know the sound of the Allstate guy's voice, right? That deep voice. If you read his actual lines, he's not really saying anything super special, but he has that real unique voice. Are you in good hands, right? Really good, clear, concise messaging. And that's one example of, he's not really saying anything special, but his voice is helping to carry the message. So, because he's not, again, the content itself that he's delivering, right, is not necessarily super interesting, but the way he says it is interesting. So he's creating a unique memory experience that's being implanted in our brain. And now the Allstate guy doesn't even have to be in the commercials, right? Because now they just put his voice over different people. 5-year-old girl, right? 20-year-old man. It doesn't even matter. Right now, we just have the voice, right? That has created a unique brand experience.
Yep.
And now,
can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
I would call that a sonic brand in a sense. Mm-hmm. Because the other thing that I get from listening to Dennis do that voice is authority.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
There's a sense of authority behind, are you in good hands?
Exactly. And all that boils down to what the brand message wants to be. So he is a really great example, and also just leads perfectly into this next tip, is think of your brand as a person, right? Create a brand persona or character that you can use to market your brand. Now, you may think, I can't create a person, or I don't necessarily want to have a person. Chris, you still need to go through that process of creating that brand and that brand persona, because you can use it to check it against your marketing materials. If you create your brand, let's say your brand persona is Bob, and Bob is a cool dude. He rides a motorcycle, right? He's a straight talk, no nonsense type of guy. He's always to the point. Right? Is this the type of flyer that Bob would produce? Right? You can use your brand persona, your brand character to check your marketing and really see, like, is this the message and the tone and the feel I want to say? Right? And all of these things help to create the brand experience. Remember, brand is the standards, the beliefs, the values. Okay? It's not necessarily the look. Right? But these things are really important and helpful in creating that unique brand experience, which is why you want to create a unique and uniform style that exists everywhere. Your brand persona, your character, your Bob, right? And all of those things can consist of, your logo, your tagline, your color scheme, your design pattern, your photography style, right? And keep it consistent everywhere. Okay? Because those things do help to create a unique brand experience. I always love to say brand is how you say hello, right? It's one asset of brand. Do you say hello? Or do you say, hey? Or do you say howdy? Or do you say hi? Right? All of those things create, right? If you meet someone and someone goes, sup, or if someone goes, top of the morning to you, right? It's very different. You get a different feel, right? So these are what we like to call brand assets, and they help identify your brand. They help distinguish you from the competitors. So the more of those things that you can create, that is really helpful for creating the unique brand experience. But again, brand boils back down to your values, your beliefs, what you want to be known for, what you want to represent in the world, what you stand for, right? So that can be very solid without all of that extra stuff. You got to know what that is. And then once you do, you can layer that on. Think of your brand as like a naked body, right? You are the same person naked as you are with clothes on. Maybe not outside, but maybe in the shower, right? You're the same person, okay? You change your clothes all the time to send a message, right? But you don't change who you are, right? That doesn't change who you are. So your brand assets are like your clothes that you cover your naked body with, right? Same person, right? You use your clothes, your brand assets, to share your message about who you are, because it's like your personality, things you can tell about a person, okay? And again, make sure your brand message is clear, informative, and unique. Okay. And I think, John, we had just literally talked about this a few minutes ago when you were talking with sitting with that individual and you were giving him your commercial and all that other kind of stuff, right? Your messaging has got to be clear, informative, unique, right? Because if we can't understand what you're trying to tell us, it makes it really hard. You cannot have too many brand messages. It just creates confusion. If people are confused, they can't get connected. They can't get connected. They can't get invested. If they can't get invested, right? They can't become part of your culture. Okay. So it's really important that your brand message is clear, informative, and unique, right? People understand. And unique is a really good one, right? Let me ask you this question. What sounds better? We're here to explore the galaxy and provide people important information about space. Or we want to boldly go where no man has gone before, right? That's way more, right? Still clear, still concise, right? But also very unique, right? For all of you, Star Trek fans and stuff like that, right? Because it was more than just about what it is they do and how they do it, right? They want to boldly go. This is about an innovative journey, right? This is an experience, okay? And it's even TV shows, because TV shows are great, right? They have all their brand assets, right? We've got Live Long and Prosper, right? We've got this stuff, right? So that maybe, okay. We all know Engage, right? We know the lines, right? And because TV shows are really great to do that. They create those unique experiences for us so that we get buy-in, right? If you're trying to figure that out, right? Look at the TV, because they will give you great examples for creating unique experiences for your crew, your clients, and your community, okay? Those are the 3 C's that you need to be thinking about: crew, clients, community. Okay? A lot of people, when they think about brand, they think about their customers, right? But you need to be thinking about the people that work in your office. Who's working for you? You need to think about your crew. How does your brand affect your crew? How does your brand affect your clients, okay? And then people who are not going to be your clients, what I like to call your community, right? How are they affected by your brand? Because not everybody will be a customer, but you can most certainly make a fan. Okay. Everybody cannot afford a Bugatti. I cannot afford a Bugatti, but I love me some Bugattis. They are nice looking cars. I would like to have one day. It is on my list of things to do. I will get one, right? So you may not be able to always create a customer, but you can always create a fan, because that creates brand recognition and brand expansion. And all of those things are really important. Okay. Think culture, right? Great brands have their own unique culture. Okay. What does yours look like? What does your culture look like for your crew, for your clients, for your community? Do you have names for them, right? Our crew, we're the mavens, right? And sometimes the magicians. We often get called magicians because we work magic. So that's somebody else gave us our brand. And sometimes your customers will do that for you. Your customers will give you your brand. They'll tell you what you're known for. And when they do, and you like it, embrace it and run with it. Okay. So ask yourself, what does the culture for my brand look like? And after you've created that wonderful brand, right, then you can leverage it again for more money. Are we all still good here? Right? Good. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. So let's go through some specific branding and marketing strategies that you can implement today, right, or tomorrow, next week, whatever, that will make your brand pop, sizzle, and do some stuff, right? Because good brands are visible and top of mind, okay? Important to know. So one of the things, I'm not going to give you all of them, but I am going to give you a couple and make sure you're utilizing this, right? One, email marketing, right? You may think you don't have much to say to your audience, but you do. I promise you, you do. If you don't understand, take a class from me, do some Google research, sign up for a workshop or webinar. You have something to say, right? Create an email list that has value, keyword value for your audience, and segment your list for better results. You can't necessarily market to everybody the same way. Know your audiences. Every business has more than one, okay? Know your audiences, okay? And segment those lists for better results, okay? Event marketing. What a great way to create a memorable experience, then create a signature event. Every business can create a signature event. I don't care what your industry is, you can create a signature event. It doesn't have to be big, it just has to be awesome, okay? Another thing you can do, okay? Merch marketing. Oh, this is probably one of my favorite, right? Create a bunch of awesome swag to give out to clients and other cool people. It's free advertising, right? Free advertising. If people are wearing your stuff, if you can give out free stuff, it is awesome. I'll tell you, probably one of my favorite merch things, kids clothing. Man, if you guys take any of my classes, I will always tell you about the power of kids and marketing and how effective they are in selling stuff. You can get kids or pets, dogs or cats, right? Internet's for cats, into your branding, right? Those are really great things. Another thing you can do, like dog treats, custom dog treats, bandanas, baby onesies. It's a real hot one. People never forget a baby onesie given to them by their company. Okay, so merch marketing is a great thing to do. Okay, contests and giveaways. Everybody likes free stuff. You can give some cool, stuff away for free. People remember that sort of thing. So host a contest, host a giveaway, get people to engage with your brand and give out good prizes. And the best example I can give was just the year before last, when we were hosting, I think it was a startup grind event with Mr. Sanders there, and he did a fantastic job. But I had a lady, and I couldn't believe this, I had a lady come up to me and she goes, I took one of your workshops like 3 or 4 years ago. She showed up to this workshop. I don't remember who this lady was, right? She goes, I still remember this really nice Michael Kors watch that you gave out. Oh, your prizes were so good. I'm like, yeah, they were. I had connections then, right? People love giveaways. It's such an awesome thing to do. And I thought, how nice for someone to come back 3 or 4 years later and say, hey, I remembered this unique experience that you created. Now, not everybody has $350 for a Michael Kors watch, but if you do contests and you giveaways and you give away really good stuff, people really like that. People never forget that sort of thing. Okay. And additionally, revenue, right? So those are marketing strategies and they do result in more revenue, but let's look at particular revenue avenues you might have missed for your brand. And it does not matter your industry. These few avenues will work for any brand. I promise you, literally any brand, you can utilize these particular avenues to increase your revenue. So you heard me mention earlier about merch marketing, right? You can sell merch, okay? If you have a brand and a logo, you automatically have a retail store, okay? You want people to feel connected to your brand? Have them look connected to your brand, right? Again, culture, right? Have people look connected to your brand. Sell swag in your stores. If you create a great brand that people love, right? They usually will buy your $15 or $20 hat, okay? Right? So it's a great way that you can utilize marketing that actually adds revenue to your business is to sell merch, right? Highly recommend Shopify. There are lots of great e-commerce tools, right? Shopify is by far my favorite. And some of you guys think, I don't know a lot about e-commerce. I don't know how to set up a store. I'm not a website builder. Don't worry. You can go to Shopify. You can get their light plan. It is $9, people. It is $9. All you have to do is add the stuff for your product, name, description, price, picture, okay? Add the stuff for your product and create what's called a buy button. You drop that code on your website and automatically you've just added a product to your store. It took you 30 minutes and $10 for the month, okay? But again, it's an avenue where you can sell products and services to people. And also, again, creating brand recognition, right? That's really important. Okay. VIP communities. This is another missed one. Okay. Great brands have great communities. Build a space where you can talk directly to your community for feedback, offers, and more. Okay. You can even create paid communities. I will tell you, I am part of 4 different paid communities right now just to be in a group with certain people. Now, some of people think like, isn't that like a paid networking group or like a BNI? No, very, very different thing, right? Because paid communities are about connecting people, okay? They're about connecting people. And I pay money to be part of really important communities every single month, okay? You can do that too. Paid consults and classes, knowledge is power. If you have knowledge, you can sell that's valuable, right? Add that to your revenue stream and keep it evergreen to make sure you can, allow your money to work while you sleep, right? Anybody can add classes and workshops because every industry has some knowledge. If you're not selling a class or a workshop or doing a consult, right? You are leaving money on the table for your organization. And this last one, while it may seem specific, again, any industry, certifications. If you are really good at what you do and good enough to teach others, consider crafting your own certification in your space. So, if you have maybe people who want to get into the insurance field and maybe they want to learn about insurance. Now, insurance, there's tests and stuff you take and things, right? But you can create maybe the equitable and, integral insurance agent certification, okay? Because not all the insurance agents have that. That you do insurance, that you do it right, you do it equitable, and you create that unique avenue in your space, and nobody else has that. And people are going to be looking for that Ken May insurance certificate, right? I'm Ken May insured, right? So that I am a good insurance agent, no matter what insurance agency I work for. So consider crafting a certification or something for your own space, a badge, right? Chamber's doing that right now with Kindness Challenge. They're adding a badge, right, that you can do to say, hey, I'm a part of X. Okay, that is a revenue stream. Does good, but also revenue stream, right? And there are several more, but I can't give you everything in one take, right? Last thing, because I was out of time already, right? Maving it up. A few things to really remember. These are really important. Don't be afraid to step away from your business to work on your brand and build something meaningful. This was incredibly hard for me to do because I'm a person who's always going like this, right? But if you don't, even someone who knows brand, I know brand very well, right? But even as a person who knows brand, you've got to keep reevaluating. So do not be afraid to stop and just work on your brand so that you can develop something meaningful that has long-term value. I used to teach like, hey, you want to keep something going, don't stop dead in the water. You know what? It's okay to stop dead in the water sometimes. You ain't got to do naked, right? You can make a comeback, right? So you want to build a brand that's meaningful, and it's okay if you step away from marketing and sales and all that other kind of stuff to make sure that you are building something that you are proud of and that you absolutely love and adore, okay? Don't compare yourselves to others. You can do competitive research, but don't try to be like everyone else, right? Brand is what makes you unique, okay? Do your research, but don't compare yourself. Don't try to be like everybody else, okay? Other thing is it's okay to create different brands to fit different products and services. Again, thing I had to learn the hard way. I started doing this and then I came back in, then I came out, and then finally we came out again, right? Not every brand is suited to your particular audience, okay? So don't be afraid to create something completely new and different to cater to a particular audience. I couldn't sell to my nonprofits under my Old Maven brand. It didn't work. They're not the same audience as my for-profit business. So what I do, I created Neat. I created a separate brand, and that thing runs solid now, okay? So don't be afraid to create different brands for different products and services, okay? Be creative in all that you do. Don't be afraid to take risks. Just because somebody hasn't done it doesn't mean it can't be done, right? People like bold. Be bold, go boldly, okay? And whatever you do, try to do it with excellence, okay? That is all. If you guys have any questions, you know where to find me. And if we want to stick around, I still have prizes.
Of course we're here for the prizes, Alex.
Okay, let's get straight to the prize. So the prizes are $10 Amazon gift card. If you've been on a presentation, you know how this game works, right? Enter a number between 1 and 100 in the chat. The closest wins, okay? So everybody drop your numbers in there. And if you don't want an Amazon gift card, let me know and I will give you a gift card of your choice for whatever it may be, okay? All right? Everybody put your numbers in. Everybody can win. Everybody can win. Anybody is a winner, okay? All right, okay? Is everybody ready? All right, let's get a drum roll, please. And the winning number is 53. So who's the closest? I watched the numbers in the chat. Who's closest?
Looks like Ken.
Woo,
at
Ken.
48. Is that about right?
Ken at 48. Ken, you
3,
are
4, 5
the
off.
winner. Congratulations. Ken, I will send that $10 Amazon gift card to you within 48 hours to the email address that you have dropped in the chat. Thank you so much. Again, you all, I am the Maven of all Maven. You can find me at findthemaven.com. All my socials at Find the Maven. And if you want to reach out, you can send me an email at info@findthemaven.com. Thank you so much.
Alex, thank you so much. That was really, really great. As usual, you always go beyond. No, you do. You over deliver. It's really great. It's fantastic.
That's part of our brand, right?
Yeah.
Part of the
Was
brand.
there one particular slide that if there was one message about branding that you would want people to, just one slide that kind of said something, just one thing? What's the most important thing?
One slide or one thing, right? Because
Let's just say one thing.
if it was one thing that I could tell people that was most important about their brand, and I'm going to make this somewhat into a long sentence, is create uniform and unique, memorable experiences. Okay. Create uniform, unique, memorable experiences. Okay. And so when I say uniform, I mean that experience has to translate in other areas. It's got to be the same everywhere. Okay. Right.
Yep.
But it's also got to be unique because you don't want to be like everybody else. Right. You've got to stand out. Right. So it's really important that you create uniform, unique, and memorable, and the good kind of memorable, might I add, good kind of memorable, right? That will stick with people, right? Because this time and time again, I have seen it in my own company for the last 10 years. I have seen it done in my clients. I've seen it other brands. When you at least do that one thing, you stay your head above water, regardless of what the circumstances.
So give them a Disneyland experience is what you suggest.
Give them a Disneyland experience. Because you know what? Disney has been raising their prices every single year, I think, for the last 5 years. And you know what? People kept coming. They never stopped coming. The 3-hour, they never stopped. They're like, because the experience it created. And I know I kept paying, they kept increasing those pass prices. I kept paying them.
Yeah.
Right? That was a unique experience, right? So it didn't matter when they're doing evil Disney corporation stuff, which big corporations have a tendency to do, right? And it wasn't enough to pull me away for the price increases, right? Because they've still offered me and my childhood and my kids such a unique, valuable experience, right?
Yep.
So you do need to give people a Disney experience that you're so good that people won't pull away from you, even when you're bad.